Hello and welcome to Fallawsophy. I'm your host, Jennifer Fallaw-Doering, and my philosophy is to believe in infinite possibilities. Hello and welcome to Fallawsophy. I'm your host, Jennifer. Tonight we are going to have a free class, and it's called 3 Steps to Centered by Archangel Uriel. This is a 3-step process to clear the mind, raise your vibration, and to get centered, to a centered place to make a clear decision. Archangel Uriel gave this to me years ago when I was feeling like foggy. I couldn't, it was really hard for me to make a decision. I was feeling kind of down. I was just really struggling with negative thoughts, and so I went into meditation, and he gave me this 9-day process. I said, well, okay, 9 days. But, bear with me on this. This is something that, can also be used when you're feeling lost, you're feeling stuck, you're feeling depressed, indecisive, foggy, negative, just out of sorts. And in today's environment, everybody's got a lot on their mind. And this is a good way to separate from that while we're waiting for answers out in the world, and get back down to centered and clear thinking, and just eliminate a lot of the can'ts and the doubt and the fear and all the lies that we tell ourselves. Why 9 days? I said, how about 9 hours, 9 minutes, why? So it's 3 steps, and each step is 3 days. And I said, why? And he said, because it takes 3 days to establish a regimen. Which is interesting, because it really does. If you think about it, when you start a diet, first 3 days are hard. Then you kind of get used to it. When you start working out, first 3 days are hard, and then you get used to it. New job, new class. It always just seems like the first 3 days takes you a few days to get into something. And he's saying that to establish a regimen, so a habit, a positive habit. Everybody gets really used to thinking negative. It's very, very easy to get stuck in a pattern of fear, worrying about the past. Well, actually, stressing about the past, obsessing about the past, living in the past, stressing about the future. And a lot of times they get stuck in a poverty mindset, lack of this, lack of that. This is never going to happen. That's never going to happen. You have absolutely no idea what's going to happen. You actually have a clean slate in front of you. And this process is very simple, but it does so many things. And I found that it's just so, the angels in their teaching, when they teach you something, it's just so perfect. Because in the beginning, you're just like, well, okay, that seems really simple. But it's just genius in what he has given me, because it didn't come from me, because it does so many things. If you pick it apart and analyze it after a while, it really does. It's about changing your perspective, opening your eyes, staying centered in the positive. Staying centered in positive thought creates positive outcomes. And if you've never tried it, you'll be amazed. Don't expect too much. Just going in open-minded. Like, oh, I'm going to be positive for 3 days and win the lottery. Probably not. Probably not. But you will find that you draw to you that which you project. And I've been saying that for 20 years. So if you want to be loved, be loving. The first step in being rich is realizing the wealth that already surrounds you, realizing how much you already have. It kind of teaches you to break free from the lies we tell ourselves and switch over to moving forward in a positive direction. It's a crash course in positive thinking, but it's not like, oh, look at that. The dog threw up all over the floor. Isn't that wonderful? Is that lovely? No, it's not that. It's really about, so you go about your life and everything, every thought that you have, if you are consumed by negative thoughts, then you are dwelling in negative energy. And negative energy attracts more negative energy. So the people that you come in contact will bring in more negative energy. Your body responds to negative energy and you won't feel as well. Lots of things start happening. And we get very, very used to that because we're told not to, don't get your hopes up. Don't think too much of yourself. Don't be conceited. Know your place, or that's too hard, or all these things that we've heard. So we're playing all these things that we've heard throughout our lives and the programming and, a lot of different things I'll get into in a little bit later, but this is how it happens. And even if you have a negative person in your life right now, and we fight against them in our minds, but we're absorbing what they say, and we wear these badges that they have given us as our identity. We don't have to do that. They don't get to have that power. It's also an exercise to live in a state of gratitude. And you've heard that many times from many spiritual people. You've heard think positive, blah, blah, blah. Everybody's like, yeah, gratitude, think positive, blah, blah, blah. But until you really put it together this way, you don't see it. You don't experience it. What do we really have to be grateful for? What do you have to be grateful for? Everybody says, oh, well, of course I have. Everybody goes to the main things that you think everybody thinks you should say, right? And then you're done after a couple things. I got like 3, No. There's so much more. There's so much more to be grateful for. It's amazing. And you just have to take yourself back down to a place of nothing and begin there. So, it's recognizing that you are safe and you are okay and you are rich and you are loved and you are protected and life has meaning, and even though you think you are, you're never really alone. We'll take you on a journey into the past, but at the same time keeping you centered in the present. We spend so much time living in the past, working through the traumas of the past, and all that we have experienced become our identity. And then we worry even more about the future. That the days just fly by. You ever wonder why when you were a kid, I was just telling somebody today, when I was a kid, the summer lasted for like a year. It was forever. It was like, oh my God, it's summertime. Run around barefoot and sprinkler and do whatever you want. And now you become adult, and it's like, where has the week gone? Oh my gosh, is it, where did the year go? And you're like, I gotta slow it down. I gotta make it go slower. It's going too fast. This is how you slow it down. Living kids, a day is forever for a kid. A month is forever for a kid because they live in the moment. Right now, they don't care. It's like you tell them, excuse me, you tell them, they say, well, I want to do this right now, Mommy. And you say, okay, we're going to do that in a little while. Oh my God, you're killing me. A little while, that's forever. No, it's like 20 minutes, 20 minutes. Oh, no, that's way too long. It's all about perspective. Our perspective, we're so busy with the future and so engrossed with the past, and that we miss today. And many people have said that. But kids are stuck in the right now, and they, as of, right now, 20 minutes is too far away. For an adult, you say, well, you got 20 minutes to do this. It's like, oh my God, I don't have any time to do anything. Never have any time. Do anything. It's just perspective, So if you don't think that you are not safe or okay or rich or loved or protected or life has meaning and you're never alone, start with nothing. Start with nothing in your mind in this process. And you will see, if I had nothing, how much do I have now? At the end of this exercise, you can make that decision. It clears your mind out. It kind of, it's interesting. And I'm going to get back to that later after I go through the process with you. We're going to review all of this. So you can make that decision. You can choose what you would like to experience next, make changes, choose the career, choose the course of study, or just feel better. Just feel better. We all get so hung up on what we're supposed to be, or how we're supposed to look, or what we're supposed to think, or how we're supposed to act, or what we're supposed to have by a certain age. Like, by whose standards? Who's in charge here? If it's not you, then that's something to think about. That's something to think about changing. Because the only one that's really in charge of your soul journey right now is you. That's it. That's the truth. Yeah, we got all these other people around trying to tell us what to do and everything. Yeah, there's all kinds of things that we have to do. But the way that we feel and the way that we act and the way that we think and the way that we experience this journey right now, that's you completely. And that's what we've been told to forget about. The truth about your life is that all you really have is right now. That's the absolute truth. All we have is right now. We may have tomorrow. May have 20 minutes from now. But, an asteroid could come shooting through the roof right now. Hope it doesn't. But if it could come shooting through the roof right now and just take me out. And that would be it. So all we have is right now. How do you want to feel right now? What do you want to experience right now? And that really takes you back down to a smaller place. Lately, everybody's been all worried, with good reason, all worried about everything that's going on in the world, everything that's going on thousands of miles away, that you have no power over. Waiting for something to happen, waiting for somebody to call, what should I do? What can I do? How can I help? Well, basically nothing right now. So if there's nothing that you can do right now, and all of you have is right now, how would you like to feel right now? I would like to be happy. I would like to be comfortable. I would like to stop imprisoning myself with negative thoughts. And, we are our own worst enemy. I have said things to myself in my head that I would never accept from somebody else. Never. This is about clearing all that away for a long enough period of time that you establish a habit of being good to yourself, remaining in a state of gratitude, raising your vibration. And the reason why I'm doing this right now, I always have a sneaky, underhanded reason for doing things, this show instead of something like the Crystal Schools or something totally cool like that. It's because it's been so helpful to me. Those of you that have listened to my radio shows for years, you've heard this before. This is review, but it's time to review it again. Everybody needs this right now. They need to get back to them and their life and realize that you in this moment right now with what you do have is not so bad. It's not so bad. We just need to clear away all that cloud of negativity. That's why a lot of you are feeling stuck. That's why we've also just gone through a long period of pandemic. Everything's out of sorts. This is where you get back down to centered. And you decide, you kind of wake up and you say, all right, everything's okay. Everything's pretty cool. We go on from here. I mean, talking about all you have is right now. The past should be merely the knowledge that you choose to keep. References of the past should either be happy times, happy memories, or the knowledge you choose to keep to move forward. Because the truth about the past is, it's absolutely gone. Absolutely gone. Don't come back at me with everything's happening right now. Yeah. We'll get into that at another time. Right now, for this purpose and this exercise, everything is gone. It's over. There's absolutely nothing you can do to change what has already transpired. Now, you can relive it over and over again as many times as you want, but if it's causing you pain, stop doing that. It's okay to let it go. It's okay to move forward now. And the future is yet to be created. And so this is why we do this, so that we can get in a positive frame of mind, a clear frame of mind, to make positive decisions, to start consciously creating a better future. This is something you can do over and over again as needed. Sometimes I only need step one. Step one's my favorite because, I'm a Taurus. I'm a girl. I'm a mom. I'm all about comfort. And you'll see why in a minute. That's why it's my favorite. But it's something you can do again and again and again whenever you need it. It's time to start from this moment in time, today, or tomorrow, whenever you want to start it, and change your perspective. You are not your job. You're not the labels or the badges that you wear. You're a soul on a soul journey. Plain and simple. Because when you go home someday, all that will matter was the joys. All that will matter, it doesn't matter what your job was, unless you brought joy to others, unless you did good things. Doesn't matter, what labels you wore, or what some jerk said in high school. It's funny because so often, some loser in high school, excuse me, some loser in high school will say something. And we fight it our entire life, don't we? Well, it's still there. It's in the back of your mind. That's why it's so important not to say bad things to people. It's always there. Like some kid called you fat once, right? And you weren't. But you grabbed it, you kept it, you wore it as a badge, and it became your identity. So you're always think that about yourself, even when you're not. I did that. Did a lot of things. And we give so much power to those who do not deserve it. So we have to stop doing that. If you talk about a spiritual awakening, this is it. This is part of it. Waking up, and they talk about everything outside of our lives, outside of our personal lives. They'll talk about politics, and they talk about music and movies and programming and the outside world, but nobody really talks a lot about how we change the way we think about our personal lives. And what I see right now is that a lot of people's personal lives are suffering. So we need to get back down to the center of it, center of your life, to the base of it, and take a good, honest look around. And that's what this is about. And you will realize that a lot of the lies that you struggle with are yours. And they don't have to be there. So let's talk about perception for a minute. Are you rich? Are you beautiful? Are you old? Are you good enough? And then I'm going to ask you, compared to what and according to who? That is a question that my grandfather, wise man, strong soul. I mean, he would come out with the famous one-liners. I swear to God, he must have been an angel or something, because that's the way they talk to you. You come out with the famous one-liners, make you think for the rest of your life. Apply it to everything. And my mom told me a story. My grandfather said that to her because she had come to him at a time in her life where she was feeling bad about herself. Oh, I'm not pretty enough, and I'm not smart enough, and I'm not good enough, and I'm not this or that. And he's like, I'm not rich enough. And compared to what? According to who? And then he proceeded to tell her that what he sees of her is the opposite of everything she just said. So it really depends on where you're standing. Society's definition of what is beautiful or rich or cool or successful changes all the time. Take a look back. If you keep looking far enough, you start looking at the statues and the pictures and stuff. Everybody's fat, Why? Everybody, we're like, well, they didn't think that was fat. They thought that was beautiful. It's the programming. It's what we've been told. And it's the status that we give to certain people that makes us decide whether we should take their word for it or not. That's why government and music and movie stars and media are so effective in telling people what's cool and what's pretty and what's okay. because we give them the status. If you would put you take a movie star and a rock star and a politician and a rich man and a poor man and everything and dress them all in white t-shirts and jeans and put them all in the same room. Who's better than the other? Who's higher than the next? They're all the same, right? But we assign them because they wear certain clothes, or they have a certain amount of money, or they have a certain title, or they have a certain job. Well, they must be smarter, and we should listen to them. That's not true. You should listen to you, because when it's all said and done, that's all you got. Everything else is a gift. Everything else in this lifetime, your children, your love, what a wonderful gift. Children, your loved ones, your animals, your possessions, your friendships, your experiences, everything else, well, even you, is a gift. When it comes to coming into this lifetime, you come in alone and you go out alone, and everything else is fringe. So you really are in the most powerful position in your life, but you make yourself the weakest. You see what I'm saying? So perspective, let's talk about that for a second. See, I had this stray cat who showed up. And throughout my life, I always liked cats had very defined markings. It didn't bleed into the other one. It was I always thought that was so pretty. Now, this little girl, she was tiniest cat you ever seen. You know, she came by one day after Easter, and the kids fed her like Cheetos and ham. And I said, don't feed that cat. So she fed her, and then we've had her ever since. I mean, and I never thought she was very pretty, because she was every color of the rainbow, all blurred into the next, stripes, spots, everything, just like, looks like she just, fell into something. And I saw her and I'm like, oh, it's not very pretty, but you're mine, and we love her. So it's just not nice, but bear with me. So that was my perception. Then I was standing out the mailbox one day and the kids were playing. I was talking to the neighbor lady. And Peanut is the stray cat. She walks over and she sits down next to me, and the neighbor says, what a beautiful cat. And I was like, really? And I looked at her for a minute, and then I saw it. All of a sudden, I saw it. I saw how beautiful she was. Yeah, but I never would have unless somebody else came along and told me. What a beautiful cat. I'm like, why didn't I see that before? It's interesting how quickly we can change what we think. And are you rich? It's funny. Compared to what? Compared to who? Because compared to my it's funny. Okay, we live a fine middle-class life. We've got like the 4-bedroom house, 2 levels, we got a big yard, everything's suburbia, nice area, everything's cool. I don't have all new furniture because anytime I buy anything new, the children ruin it. And I know I'm not going to have anything. I'm the mom that says, damn, we can't have anything nice because everything gets broken or scratched or stained or whatever. And I'm just like, wait till y'all move out and we'll get nice stuff. So it's lived in, but I keep it clean. And some of the girls' friends at times would come over and think that we're rich. It's like, wow, you got a boat, you got this huge house, and you guys all have a car, and wow, you guys are rich. And I'm like, no, we're not. We're not rich. I'm all stressed out about money over here. You think I'm rich? And but I thought about it, and where do they live? Well, they live in an apartment, and she probably should share a room with her sister, and they didn't have very much, and they got one car that they share. And I'm thinking, well, I could see where she would think we were rich. But then my mother comes over. My parents got millions. They live up on a mountain. They've got this huge 25-room log cabin on 140 acres, and they're wealthy. I don't ask for anything, tell you what. Anyway, that's a long story. It's another show. Love my parents. But my mother comes over here, crack you up. She'll come over here, and she'll lock her car to walk into my house. Like she's in the ghetto. I'm like, Mom, we don't even lock our doors. We're fine. You're fine. You're fine. Grab your purse, though, because she thinks I live in the ghetto because she built her own house. She's got everything in it that's nice that she wants, and she doesn't have kids ruining everything. So it's her perspective. So she thinks, so that's wealthy to her, and she thinks I'm poor. But then the person who came over and had less thinks I'm rich. So who's right? Depends on where you're standing. I've had friends come over, like when I was a kid, and like pinching. Oh, you're fat if you could pinch an inch, and they can't even pinch an inch, and they're saying they're fat, and I'm like, I should slap you for that. It's like, I'll show you an inch, okay? That just depends on, whose ideals are you going by? Who makes the rules? Who's in charge of you? This exercise will show you that you are rich. Because if you start with nothing, and then there's something, then you're grateful for it. Like the old thing. Okay, I hear people of all different ages. I talk to thousands of people who do readings, all kinds of things. They'll come to me and tell me how old they are. And I'm thinking, you don't sound old. And I'm like, how old are you? And they're like, oh, I'm 50. And I'm like, well, I'm like, mid to something 40s. And that's not fair. We can't start saying that. You can't start throwing the O word around like that. That's not okay. You're not old. And, some people, they'll be 65. They'll tell you, I'm not old yet. Old is 90. Good. Keep that. You should, in your mindset, you should be running around thinking you're old. Because that's when then your body starts, oh, we're old. Okay, we can't do this. We can't do that. We're going to start breaking things down. Or start changing behaviors. So it's all about perspective. And good enough, don't get me started on that. Who decides? Unless you're trying to try it out for a sports team or something, who decides who's good enough? It's ridiculous. It's really gotten out of hand. It really has, because, and especially today, they've, the media and the society dictates if we're okay or we're not okay, or if we're, achieve something at a certain age or whatever, and they know that, and they use that, and they could, if they all, let's say, everybody decided to teach everybody that, let's say, the color blue was ugly, and they hit it really hard, and they hit it all really hard. There'd always be a few of us standing in the back of the room raising their hands saying, I like blue. Just be like me. I'd be in the back of the room. But they could flip a bunch of people. And that's what you're seeing playing out in front of you right now, and you all know that. But what we're going to do is try and flip our perspective in our personal life, because what we're dealing with right now, it's a lot of worry, It's a lot of fear. It's a lot of stress. And if you are going to progress in whatever you want to call it, an awakening, we got to get rid of that. We got to stop doing that. You deserve to stop doing that. You just never want to assign ownership of your worth to someone else. That's when you get in trouble. To a boyfriend or a girlfriend or a husband or a wife, or as much as you love them, parents, a boss especially. They won't remember you when you're gone. And that was a hard lesson I had to learn a long time ago. Your ownership is yours, and yours alone. You get to be the one who decides your worth. And you get to be the one to put those badges on your chest. And what badges would you like to put there? Strong, capable, beautiful, smart, okay. It's a big one right here. I am okay. That'd be good. Let's do that. And more than anything, do not allow money to own you. A lot of people do. I don't have that much money, so I am not as good as the next person. Listen, I have lived rich and I have lived poor. Not like terrible poor, but like, well, there's when I was going to college, okay, and I was working anyway, it's not a big, pretty poor. And somewhere I ended up right in the middle somehow. But some people who have less money will look in at somebody they consider, prospective rich. Everybody's got their thing, okay? Everybody's got their problems. In their life, it may not have been money. It could be relationships. It could be health. It could be children. It could be something else. That's why we're told not to judge. It's not our business. It really isn't. Don't envy people. Just work on yourself. Start at the base. Get down to nothing and work on you. So once you start pulling the badges off from the villains who gave them to you, or you start pulling those rocks out of that heavy pack that you wear on your back, of all the things that you need to carry around and think about obsessively from the past, you become much lighter. You become much freer. You become much healthier. And you finally find peace. You'll find that this raises your vibration. It stops negative thoughts, and in turn, your body heals and feels better. It clears the mind and makes you feel safe, happy, and wise. Oh, I am so smart for doing this. So let's get into it. Step 1. Now we're going to do this for 3 days. Okay. Now, I'm not saying you don't need to go and hide in your room for 3 days or go sitting on a mountaintop and meditate and do nothing but think about this for 3 days. That's not practical. I mean, you could, but no. So this is a thought process that replaces the others that aren't like I have to do the dishes or pick up the kid right now. In the times when you would drift off to think negatively or worry, every time you think about it, maybe put some sticky notes up to remind yourself. And for 3 days, we're going to think about all the material blessings in your life. And everybody goes, whoa, we're not supposed to care about material things. I don't care. It's a part of life. It's a part of life. It's funny. It's okay to like your material things. Be thankful for them. So this is how we're going to do it. It's part of your life, and so it's an important part. So that's where we're going to start. Because we're always, when we're not thinking about being good, concerned about material things. Money, keeping the house, whatever's in the house, the car, clothing, whatever. Food, medicines. These are physical things. Material blessings. So we're going to recognize all the physical things in your life that add to your comfort, that add to your life. Everything, however small and however little you have, change your perspective. Start at nothing. All the blessings in your life, and then every time you find one, you're going to thank God. Very important part of this. You're going to thank God. So this is kind of funny, but when I started doing this the first time, I'm like, okay. I started, with when somebody asks you around the table at Thanksgiving what you're thankful for, I was starting with all that. Oh, I'm thankful for the kids and this and this and that and everything but he told me, no, we want to take a look at everything I'm talking. So I go into the bathroom and I'm taking a shower and I'm looking at the shower and I'm like, what if I didn't have a shower? And then I saw it. I was like, wow. I'm like, warm in here. There's warm water coming out of here. I don't have to wash in a bucket outside with some kind of sponge or like a gas station or something like that. I have my own private shower. I totally have enough room in here. And I've got I've got frilly soaps. I've got good hair stuff. And what a lovely experience to be in the shower and be warm and get clean. And, I got a curtain here so nobody sees me and the water doesn't get in the floor and cause me more work. And, and then so then I get out of the shower. And so then I'm drying off and I'm like, it's really nice to have a towel to dry off in. I'm talking about the littlest of things. Thank you, God. And then you laugh about it. And laughing about it is a very vibration too, joy. So we're centered in gratitude and joy. And then I went about my day. And then I go out into the living room. And I was like, oh, here's another room. I was going around the house. I'm like, look at all these rooms we have. We have a room for this and we have a room for that. And there's look at those things right there. We can get our clothes clean in those. And then I go into the kitchen and I look at the food and I'm like, we have like so much food. I could make so many things with this. We could survive for like a really long time on this. And just so what you're doing is forever how long I stayed on that in those thoughts. I was happy about it. It was funny that I was actually noticing these things. And then I was grateful for it. And I kept going with it. Then you get distracted. Something happens. You got to go pick up somebody from school or somebody calls you on the phone or you got to do some work, whatever. You go back to it. And it actually becomes fun. It actually becomes a fun thing to do because when you're doing it, what I realized is that I spent absolutely no time worrying. None. I spent no time in those 3 days talking mean to myself. I spent no time really concerned about the future, and that's okay. You could take 3 days where you don't worry about the future. It's okay. It will still be there. And I felt better. I slept better. My body felt better. The reason that your body feels better and functions better when you have a higher vibration, when you are centered in a positive state, is because that is your natural state. Fear, sadness, despair, depression, that all hurts. You know why? Because negative energy is foreign to you. It's like an allergic reaction on a soul level. So let's heal. let's get back into it. And for 3 days, everything you look at, I want you to think of something positive about it, how it affects your life. And it's a blessing. What a blessing that is. And I was doing it. And my husband's like, why are you staring at the toilet paper? You really don't fully understand the value of this stuff. This is really a blessing here. And he's like, okay. But, and even now, I'm laughing. It's funny. It makes me feel good. And so he got into it. He started doing it. And it was just, you forget about all the worries of the world, and you forget about all the, oh, that's right, I was supposed to be upset about something that some dipshit at work said the other day that I've been going off on for 4 days because they hurt my feelings. Who cares? Who cares? You don't care because you've gotten back to your life. You've gotten back to your soul experience and realizing that you are blessed. And so I love step 1. I usually need step 1 to pull me out of something. And so along the way, you're going to resist. Like if you go into the living room and the kids and the dogs have totally destroyed the entire place right after you cleaned it, we're not going to address that. We're not going to look at that. We're just going to say, wow, what a lovely rug that is. We're just going to go back to, isn't it wonderful that I have a living room so big that the kids and the dogs can completely destroy it in like 20 minutes while I'm going to the bathroom. So that's what we want to do. We don't want to dwell and say, well, that's old or that's broken. I need a new one of those. And I don't like the color of these curtains. And, we don't focus on any of that. Even if it's broken and even if it's old, it's there. That is a blessing. And you have a hard time with it. Imagine having nothing, no clothes, no nothing. You're standing outside naked with nothing. When I went to bed the first night was fun because I got into the bed. I was like, okay, what if I had nothing and it's time to go to bed? And so I went, I'm like, wow, this carpet's really soft on my feet. And then I got in the bed and I was like, wow, I got this blanket and I got that blanket. Not only do I have 2 pillows, but I have throw pillows. I mean, I have so many pillows that if I totally needed, I could make an extra bed out of these pillows. So it was fun. It was fun. And I just fell asleep and I was just so comfortable and so thankful. And I just kept remembering to say, thank you, God. So first step 1, 3 days, material blessings, recognize everything that is a blessing, that is a material thing in your life, your car that takes you to work and back, everything. Thank God for it every time you recognize it. Now, step 2, this one's a little harder. Okay, but this one is necessary. It is necessary on this journey. 3 days, emotional blessings. Now, this is easy when you think about your children, you think about your loved ones, you think about your friends. What you're going to do with this is we're going to pull out all those bad feelings, those roots from the bad guys. Maybe not all of them, but a lot of them. And what I'm talking about is what we're going to do is you're going to, this is about the people and the relationships in your life that it added to your experience, good or bad. In some way, someone was a catalyst to get you moving or to make you who you are or to make you strong or to teach you what not to be. This is how the soul sees your journey on the other side. They see the reason for it. Even that person that did you wrong, that cheated on you or whatever, or stole from you, or it affected you in such a way that maybe you didn't, you decided not to steal, or you decided not to cheat. And on a soul level, it was actually a gift. And that's a hard one. That's a hard one to swallow. But we're not going to get too far in it. We're not going to get into, oh my God, the whole thing all over again. We're just going to take a look at those people. And here's a big one. Here's one. Okay, so you go to work every day and there's this annoying person next to you, okay, that you can't stand. And you have a bad day because they're so annoying and they piss you off. I want you to take another look at that relationship, okay? Maybe it teaches you something about yourself. Maybe that person is sitting next to you to get you to move forward in life and leave. Something like that. Maybe your stepfather, who was, let's say he was an atheist, and bugged you all the time because you were spiritual. And that pushed you into your spiritual calling. That pushed you to find answers. Maybe at first to prove him wrong, but then again, it wasn't. It was for you. So this is what I'm talking about. People that are on the bad character list in your life journey. We're going to review that. We're also going to think about how wonderful and so basically we're focusing on the good. With the bad people, we want to focus on how something positive that has come from their presence in your life. Like my stepfather, he was so annoying about being on time. I hated it. I think I'm like so anal. I'd show up at the family gathering. He'd stand at the door, and it's like, I'm supposed to be there at 6. It's like 6:01. You're late. No way. Oh my God. So I'm early everywhere now. I'm early everywhere. But it taught me something. And I'd say that's a positive thing. Even though I hated it, it was a positive thing because I am never late now. So that's what we're going to focus on. And then also we want to focus on all the love. Everyone who has just really added to your journey, who's there right now, who taught you something, your friends, your lovers, your family, your coworkers, your teachers, your neighbors, your idols. That's what we want to focus on for 3 days after that. So we've cleared away the worries about our material life. And then we're going to clear away and you're going to get understanding on a higher level from step 2. Do not get pulled into old conflicts. Do not get pulled into feeling bad or sad because you're thinking about old things. Recognize it, stand back from it, and say, well, yeah, I really hated my old roommate and he stunk a lot, but it really made me work on my personal hygiene. I don't know. Something like that. Okay. I really hate my ex-boyfriend because they cheated on me and he was such a loser and he always did that to me and did terrible things. And, but now, I'm so glad to be with my husband because he doesn't do those things to me. Well, guess what? Your ex-boyfriend taught you to aim higher. He taught you what not to be. He taught you what to look for, what to look out for, what to accept and what not to accept. So every relationship has value. So we take a look at that relationship in our life and we stop obsessing about it. Understand that he was supposed to do that. So we can just let go everything about being cheated on. Let's just do that. All the personal drawbacks, all the, oh, I'm not pretty enough, or I'm not good enough, or why didn't he love me, and all these things. It wasn't about that. You had a pact. He came in here. That was your time to be together. It was supposed to end that way. It was supposed to end that way so that you would learn something. He would learn something, and you would go on to the person who is better for you. And let it be done. Keep the knowledge. Move forward. That's step 2. And I suggest flip-flopping in your mind between somebody who's really loved and one of those kind of people, so that don't let that vibration fall. And if you need to go back to step 1 at any point in time and remind yourself of something, do it. This is just, it's a cleansing process. It's a healing process. And it's raising your vibration, because wisdom is also healing. Then we move on to step 3. Step 3 is spiritual blessings. I don't really spend a lot of time on 2 and 3 because I, as a person, have always been very aware of those 2 things. But step 1 is what I worry about. Stupid, I know. Spiritual blessings. All the times you were saved, all the times you were guided, all the times you were comforted, all the times God was with you. He heard your prayers. And if you really take a look, you'll realize there were many, 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 many times. Take a look at all the times you almost died. Why are you still here? Angels, God, your guides, all the spiritual blessings in your life, the connections that you've had, the experiences that you've had, the classes you've taken. So that's 3 days. So what we're doing in step 3 is realizing that even though you think you are, you're never, ever alone. A lot of people struggle with that. They feel alone while surrounded by people. Step 3 is spiritual blessings. So we're going to go through that. We're going to think of all those times, right down to the time your kid almost fell down the stairs and they miraculously were pulled back or whatever, something like that. Everybody's got something like that. Or you don't know how you lived through that accident, or you don't know how you got through that night. Everybody's got answered prayers. And if you really dig into it and just think about it, and every time you find something, thank you, God. Every time your kids come home safely, thank you, God. Every time your husband or wife comes home safely, thank you, God. So many times, if you take a look back, the Holy Spirit has been present in your life. The angels have helped you. There's been somebody there. And that is something you have to take a look at, because most people don't. They just keep going on about their merry business, and they don't if we could see the angels and guides, how wonderful would that be? Of course, you wouldn't have any privacy, but, I always thought that would be an awesome movie. If you took 4 people and showed, they don't see their angels and guides, but we do. And that would be awesome. I think that would be awesome. Or one of the people see them and see what they go through on a daily basis to protect people. So this process seems really simple. We got 1, material blessings, 3 days. 2, emotional blessings, 3 days. Step 3, spiritual blessings, 3 days. And at the end of this process, not only have you been entertained for 9 days, but you haven't worried for 9 days. You haven't been depressed for 9 days. Probably haven't been anxious for 9 days because you've been busy. And your body probably feels better. You've probably healed some from something. You're probably sleeping better. You taught yourself something. You taught yourself to stop it. A lot of people have anxiety, they have depression, and there are legitimate medical reasons for that, but a lot of it is choice. A lot of it's choice. And by choosing to focus your attention on these positive things, you have dwelled in positive energy for 9 days. Test it out. Take note before you start. See how long you go without thinking a negative thought about yourself or your life or somebody else. Take a drive. I swear, if somebody could hear what's going on in my head when I drive, it's ridiculous. And I'm like, you know what? You have to stop that, Jennifer. That is just absolutely ridiculous. It's unacceptable. I mean, you don't talk to people like that in your mind. But everybody's an idiot when I'm driving. That's everybody's an idiot. So you stop that, and you'll see how your life changes, because what you're doing now is not only are you're dwelling in positive energy, you're projecting it. And even if you don't say a word, you'll see your household will be more peaceful. Your days will be more peaceful. And if you continue on doing this, it'll teach you to reject the negative thoughts, reject the negative energy, and your vibration keeps going up. And when your vibration keeps going up, you have more psychic experiences. We'll talk about that later. But no fear from that now. But you can more easily connect when you're talking to God in your mind, which I highly recommend. You'll hear the answers better. It's easier to make a decision because we don't have this constant bombardment of what if and fear and worry and stress and all these things hitting us when we're trying to make a decision. It's like a bunch of ping pong balls hitting you in the head when you're trying to make a decision. It's ridiculous. And we do that to ourselves. So, 3 Steps to Centered by Archangel Uriel. Material blessings, emotional blessings, and then spiritual blessings. 3 days each. Anybody has any questions about it, you can email me at jenniferfallaw.com. Let me find the banner. Voila. There it is. Getting used to this platform. Okay. If you would like to hear any of my older shows, and let me tell you you can go to beaconoflightradio.com. I own the station. It's 24-hour a day radio station. We have thousands of shows. If you like the things I've been talking about, we have shows about paranormal, spiritual, psychic ability, phenomena. We're talking about aliens, Bigfoot. We're talking about pyramids. We're talking about everything totally cool over there. So we've got thousands of recorded shows, and we also have live shows. So if you're ever bored and you're waiting for somebody's YouTube show to start, we don't have anything to listen to while I'm doing the dishes, go on over to beaconoflightradio.com, hit play. You can listen to it as long as you want for free. Absolutely free. I don't even have very many commercials over there because I don't like commercials. And I don't have to. It's funded by hosts and your donations. So if you ever want to donate, you can go to beaconoflightradio.com, and there's a button there. There's also a button on jenniferfallaw.com. If you would like to host your own radio show, you can contact me at jenniferfallaw.com as well. Send me an email and let me know your show idea. Please share this video if you think it was helpful. If it helped you out in any way, and you think somebody that it would be helpful for. I really thought it would be helpful now because everybody is in such a fragile kind of state, waiting for something to happen. And I think that we need to pull back from that a little bit. It's not that we're pulling our support. It's not that we've changed our mind. It's not that we're laying down and letting anything happen. It's just that we're going to go about our lives and we're going to get back to living good. And that's really what this ascension is about. It's about stopping the belief in the lies. Jesus told me to my face in meditation. Because I'm a big worrier and I struggle with it, okay? I'm a lot better than I used to be. It's a process. You'll work on it the rest of your life. You can do this anytime, over and over again. There's 3 steps to centered. But I was talking to Jesus one day in meditation, and I was just like, blah, 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 whine, this and that. And totally complaining, but, in a nice way to Jesus. And he was like, stop listening to fear. I'm like, okay, yes, Jesus, whatever you say. I'm like, that was, yeah, okay, I will. And he's like, and then I looked at him and he's like, fear is a liar. And I was like, yeah, totally is, huh? It is. Fear's a liar. Yeah. And like, how simple is that? It is a liar. And, he referred to evil as fear and always has. It's not interesting. Not evil, not the D word, not anything like that. Just fear. And then another time, pretty much the same conversation, he said, you need to see through the eyes of love. And I'm like, how do I do that? And it brought me back to the love your enemies thing. And because I remember what it was. It was when I had to do healings on people that had been mean to me in email. And I was like, God, I don't want to do this now. What? But they need it, And he says, you need to see through the eyes of love. And when you see through the eyes of love, there's understanding there. I understood when I took a really good look at them that they weren't yelling at me, that they weren't mad at me. They were hurting. They were in pain. They were frustrated. They were screaming out for help. And I took it personally, and I shouldn't have. I should have just done my duty. So when I did the healing for them, I tried and I went in and I said, I have to love this person like God does, or I'm going to get in the way. So I did. And they were healed. And that's probably one of the most powerful healings that I've done. Well, God did, I was there. But that's the key. And everybody says that love is the key, blah, 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 and put on greeting cards and all that. And everybody doesn't really think much of it. But it is. It really is. I mean, it changed your perspective. It's funny because, a mountain seems really big when you're standing at the bottom of it. But if you're way far away from it, it doesn't look so big. So take a step back. Let all this stuff that's going on in the world go on in the world. You'll do what you have to do. When called. But you don't have to run this obsessive fear, panic within your mind. It's not doing anybody any good. It's not accomplishing anything. It's just making you crazy. And it's breaking up your relationships. So let's get back down to centered and try this. So let's go to chat, see if we have any questions. Oh, yeah, we have all kinds of people in there. Yeah, Tuggy Waffles is here. Hi, Tuggy. Chris Scott. Let's see, Byron, Chris, Nancy, Buckfightin, Ashley, Candace, Oski, Jane, Rosemary, all kinds of people in here. Thanks, guys. Thanks for coming. Somebody would like me to do a show on how to interpret dreams. I love that. That is so interesting. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, that's one of my things. I write children's books that a large part of it takes place in the dream state. I don't really see a lot of questions. So I think we're going to get moving. I hope that this was helpful to you. And I hope you're successful in it. Once again, you can always book a private reading with me. You can get a healing if you go to jenniferfallaw.com. Serious about the radio station. Go and listen. It's absolutely free. beaconoflightradio.com. And I would like you all to join my group on Facebook, because that's where you'll find me easily. And it's called Free Psychic Readings, Beacon of Light. Free Psychic Readings, Beacon of Light. And you can always get a hold of me there about something personal, and you can see everything I post, and you will always be notified when I go live. Once again, please share the show. And I want to thank everybody for being here with me tonight on Fallawsophy. And remember, always believe in infinite possibilities. Good night.